Okay, so I've basically leaked the entirety of Layer 2 or a large portion of it at this point, to the point where there's barely any info left to cover. Cheers to an entire month of Layer 2 leaks. That's why I'm making this video, compiling every data-mined leak that I covered in the past, from races to weapons to oaths. There will be channels popping up to rip me off, great value Kirkland versions copying my style. But just know, that those information, are things I've already covered. So they exist solely to waste your time. Anyways, let's get into the first leak, races. There will be 2 races that are not dev specs, they are even confirmed by the DeepWoken Twitter. Those races are Terran and Cressid. Terran is a bird race which has a unique glider and reduced fall damage. These are all their last names and these are all the 4 variants, default, canary, crow and jay. Cressid is a moth race and is considered a hivekin alongside Ganymedes and Vesperians. They have the same racial passive as Ganymedes. These are all their last names, and these are all 3 of the Cressid variants, default, devout, and seer. Next I'll be talking about the leaked locations. There will be no new luminants. Etrian Luminant will get an expansion to become the Eastern Luminant, with the addition of new locations related to the Ignition Union, while Layer 2, the namesake of this update, will have a unique skybox and limited expedition numbers. I'll show a list of all the locations in this update, including the new overworld ones right now. Although New Cursor is the Kelter of Layer 2, I'm 100% sure the key location people will farm at is Etheronial Shrine. It even has farmable shrine points and fog that can be toggled off if you meet the right conditions. Besides that, there'll also be a new guild house location named Dwellers Chimes, which is the area where this screenshot is taken. Onto the Layer 2 monsters. First up we have the Carbuncles, the mud skipper of Layer 2. Probably fodder. Then we have Squigglies. I used to think these are the isopods that killed Carlia, but now I'm almost certain they're the worms hidden underneath the snow in Layer 2. Yes, the snow is alive. Next I'll be talking about the mobs with actual leaked animations. Do note that the rigs used do not represent the actual model of the mobs in the game. First up, we have the Bounder. It can jump scare you by causing hallucinations. These are its animations shown on a subpar rig. For the next few mobs, I'll be touching on them before showing their animations all at once. There's the Ice Guy, whose name I do not know. And also a brute variant of said Ice Guy. Then there's this mini-boss called Bone Guy in the files, his actual name is also unknown. These are the animations for all of them, and yes, all their rigs are squibbos. Well, that's all for regular mobs. I'll be moving on to the bosses. The first one is Chaser. This boss is the one shown in the trailer. It uses blood manipulation to kill you. These are its skills. They look pretty good to me, and hard to dodge or parry. Also, this boss may or may not be related to the Duke of Erisia, as its laugh is pretty similar. I'll play it now. This boss is not that known, there's very little info on it, but the next boss, Avatar of Etheron, is quite well known. It is as big as pre-nerf Primadon. Although its size in the picture isn't accurate, it's actually 70% of that size, which is still huge. These are its skills as shown in the game files. And these are the animations of said skills. It also has a cool death effect, with green beams of light emitting out of its body. Okay, now we've finally reached the weapons section. Firstly, we have the Lantern Karate. It shares the same animation as the Way of Navy. It scales with your willpower along with light weapon, a good choice for divers. Then we have the new Rail Blade. The model shown is not fully accurate. Lastly, we have these rifles, one seemingly requiring no bullets. Apparently both of them can be equipped on main hand and off hand, which is really weird to me. There will be more weapons added, but I have no idea which is a spec and which isn't. These four are just the confirmed ones. I'll be showing rail blade animations and rifle animations now. Do keep in mind that once again, these are just rigs, they aren't the actual model of the weapons. Now I'll be talking about the new artifact Aetherblood, and armor redesigns. The Aetherblood artifact turns your blood bar blue. There's no confirmed function to it, but the prevailing theory is that it drains your blood bar for faster ether regen. Not a very good effect, but at least it's balanced. Unlike Rogue Lineage artifact, this is the chest that drops it. As for the redesigns, I'll be showing all of them. Personally I'm not a fan of them, but people seem to love these redesigns. So it is what it is. There's a few good ones like the Cloak of Winds, Hive Drone and Hive Tactician, but that's all. Well, the next section is about oaths. There will be 3 new oaths. The first one is Aquada. It is a mech oath, most likely having something to do with the Ignition Union, as they are the ones with Ironsing. Its skills are what you would expect from a mech suit. The next oath is a less known one, Link Strider. People are theorizing that it has something to do with creating links with others, or leeching on them. So it's also known as the Leech Oath. The third oath is Star Kindred, also known as the Angel Oath. This will give you light-based abilities, like those used by angels and the Crazy Slot Resonance. There might also be a fourth oath called Windrunner, but this shit has been floating around since release day, so I highly doubt that's an actual oath. These head assets might be related to the new oaths. Now we're on my favorite section, lore. There's 2 new lore books to my knowledge, the first one being related to how the Lord Regent came to power. Its title is The Stars Above and the Blade Between. The second lore book, The Lament of Sirin, shows how dangerous Lifeweave really is. No attunement can even come close to the sheer danger possessed by Lifeweave. I've made videos narrating both the books, but for the Lament of Sirin, I don't think text-to-speech did it justice. That's why I'm remaking it with some voice actors. Here's a small preview of the remake. Do tell me in the comment if it's still not up to par, as re-recording is still possible.
The Laments of Sirin, compiled by the Emerald Scholar, presented by Zose and her community. The sound of birds is a common occurrence within the nested corridors of the Great Hives. I've woken up to these chirps countless times within my decades spent within them, though tomorrow I travel to another. While the construction of Great Hive Eretel is still ongoing, my party of lively scholars has been tasked with a mission by Hive Lord Seamak Deary himself. By the next star set, we shall begin our departure to one of the eldest great hives known to my kind, the first. Some consider this a pilgrimage of sorts, as other hivekin believe the first to be as reverent as holy ground, the beginning of our society. To experience this journey myself is exciting, to say the least, though I do ponder the morality of what's to come with our task. I trust in Seamak's guidance. His bravery has brought us this far. But I cannot help but worry nonetheless. While I'm lost in such thoughts, a small bird approaches, small and fragile.
That's enough lore for today. Now I'll be discussing blood talents, which is actually just a fancy way of saying boons and flaws. This is a new system in which you unlock boons and flaws for your next life, like Termite for example, except it's massively unbalanced. For example, the flaws are no resonance and double monster damage taken, while the boons are extra notes and slightly faster resonance progression. The gap between the boons and the flaws are so huge that it's almost comical. I go in depth on each and every one of these talents in my other video, link in the iCard. It really gets more ridiculous the more you look at it. Well, that's all for the leaks that can be categorized, the rest are just miscellaneous leaks with no categories. There's the new talent that disables fog in Etheron Shrine, obtained by killing Avatar of Etheron. There's also the Union Hook talent, which lets you navigate the shrine better as you can swing down the hooks around the shrine. Lastly, there's a talent that lets you gain insanity the more you chant. This is good for builds with Lose Your Mind. As for random assets, there's 6 new lotuses, including the Watcher's Beetle. The apothecary would love this. There's also Green Wave, possibly an addition to sailing mechanics. Besides that, there's also this orb titled Door Key, possibly a key for the entrance leading to Layer 2, and lastly there's the Egg of a Megalodont, which might mean you'll be able to hatch one for yourself, or it's just for decoration in a Megalodont den. Well, that's every DATAMINed leak that will be released for the foreseeable future. Do like and subscribe if you find this video informative. I am a superhuman that upload videos daily. As for all of you guys that only watch me for the leaks, until we meet again, hopefully soon,